have community, but if people just want to generate privately, they can do that as well. In fact, our application, the iPhone app, lets you render just directly on your phone. It doesn't even go to a server. But it's very slow because the phone is not very powerful. And so that's where the DePIN network comes in. It's as fast, if not faster, than the corporate networks, but owned by the people. So yeah, that's our thing.
Okay, okay. Okay, so Candy have a question too. How does Sogni AI compare to Midjourney or Runway in terms of quality and control? Okay.
Good question. So we have over 100 models. And so what we're finding is that whenever there are big and powerful private models, there's huge competition, like we saw with, like, for example, DeepSeek. If everyone's heard about DeepSeek, where it's kind of eating ChatGPT's dog food, where they release a very powerful reasoning model, and then the following week, an open source model comes that's faster and cheaper and free because it's open source. Anyone can use it. And so we have the same thing with our AI models, where they go wide, where with like a Midjourney or with a ChatGPT or a Casual Prompter, there's only one model interpreting what you're requesting. But with us, we have models that are just focused on architecture, just focused on anime, and they go deep, and they understand um, different niche keywords and whatnot in that technology. And then we have very deep controls. We have these concepts called control nets, where you can do pose control and pose transfer, and you can do different style transfer. You can do very, like, we consider our tool a tool for a new breed of AI artist. Like, if you can imagine it, you can come up with it in a way where it's what you imagine in your head. If you're prompting with like Midjourney or ChatGPT, it's guessing at what you want, and you might like what it produces, but it's not your art because it's not producing exactly what you wanted. But with our tools, it's like Photoshop for AI, where you're getting very specific. It's basically, AI is just another tool to produce your art, and so we put the you and creativity in it. And there was a question on how our models are trained. Each one of our models are provided by the open source community. And so each one is trained on their own data sets. And because it is open source, there are a lot more lax policies on on that data, because it's not owned by anybody, really. It's open source. And so that allows us some flexibility in offering a lot of models, and a lot of yeah, and a lot of models that other platforms can't do. Like, there are things that you cannot prompt from like a Midjourney, because it's like copyright or whatnot. But um, do people earn from sharing the models? Yes, we actually have a part of the revenue fees on the network go to Model Creators Fund. It goes to there's basically a whole ecosystem that the network sponsors. And so sponsoring model creation and paying model creators is one of those.
Okay. Okay, so the next question is, how is Sogni AI model trainer? Are you using open source model? With the little gift. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Open source model like it is the XL, or building your own foundation models.
So we have three categories of models right now, and we started with SD, and then we do have SDXL models, and then we have Flux models. And because we're relatively new, like, the app only existed as an iPhone and Mac app for the first year, and then in our second year we introduced the Supernet, and then we started introducing worker nodes and a web app. And at first when we started to talk to some popular model creators, they wouldn't even answer our emails because we were too small. But now we got really big all of a sudden, and it's a game changer. We can now hire more talent, make more deals to get more models in there. But right now we mostly have stable diffusion models and flux. And then we're going to be adding in a lot of the amazing open source video models that are coming out. There are about three of them that have come out in the last couple of months that are really amazing, and they really give like Sora a run for its money. And it's actually better than Sora in a lot of ways because some of these models they offer LoRa training in video, which is crazy. And so we've been staying on top of this open source technology, and we don't really have to develop too many models in house because there's just so many crazy and cool models that are coming out from open source, and we want to be the main open source provider. We call it a supernet because a supernet means that it's a network of networks. And so we have a lot of partners like Nosana, for example. All they do is provide GPUs. People sign up, they install their software, and then they run inference tasks, the GPU tasks, and they get paid in Nosana tokens. But they don't have the work to apply those workers to. They're looking for somewhere. And so our platform is somewhere where the workers meet the people needing the work. Whether right now it's mostly images, but we're going to be adding video in there. And we want to be a creative AI platform for all media. We'll do audio. We'll do advanced workflows. We have SDKs so that you can power your own websites and games and apps with our image generators and future video generators.
Okay, so a friend who plays have an amazing question that if can we use our own models like Loras?
So we have support for Laura's coming up. We right now we're just getting the SuperNet into mainnet, and so we were
Mhm.
actually originally scheduling mainnet um, for actually the start of April, but we actually postponed it for 6 weeks because um, we're finishing up adding a couple more features. We're making sure that the token that backs the network can be added to enough popular exchanges and dexes. But once that stuff is finished, we'll be able to focus more on some of these really lofty goals that we have with the product, and that's like adding full model, full LoRa training, adding obviously video, and just all kinds of different inference tasks, whether it's like upscaling jobs and denoising. Like there's so much basically anything that in the creative world that needs to be done and needs GPUs, like we want to be there. One other thing that I want to mention is that we are artists ourselves. Like I have a design degree, and most of our team does. And so we we build the app that we want to see. And so because we do that, the app is very much more polished than we call ourselves like a Web3 on Web2 Rails, where when you go into the app, you don't know that it's creating a crypto wallet for you. And it's because the crypto wallet it backs up the token technology that makes it all work. But we give you a lot of free tokens that are actually real tokens. Um, and then but we know that people don't care about the crypto. They just want to see the application, see it work, and do everything that they want to do. And so we are Mac centric, where we have a lot of um, the best experiences for using open source models, the best front ends, really great iPhone app, really great iPad app, native Mac app where you can just click one button when you're not using your computer and just put it into worker mode. And then when you're sleeping, it's earning tokens. And then when you wake up, you can use those tokens to generate your work faster. Or on during mainnet, you can sell those tokens, or you can sit on them as an investment. It's a really cool technology.
That is amazing, actually. Oh my
Thank you.
God. Okay, we are going to continue with the question that our amazing guests have. Okay, okay. Hello, Davida. Asks, are there plans to release Android version of Sogni Pocket? Mm.
Oh, good question. Yes, for sure. Right now, we're focusing on making sure that the web version, which fully supports mobile, gets all of the advanced features that our native apps have. And then once that's complete, we're definitely working on a native Windows and native Android.
Okay, okay. So, okay, let me see. Recently, a ChatGPT server overlaid with people generating a Studio Ghibli art with tons of users generating on Sogni. How do you guys plan to overcome the server overlaid? Okay.
Yeah, it's a great question. So that's where this whole DePIN technology kicks in. Um, when we first started, we had 10, something like 10 GPUs, where it was just all of our developers were setting up their own computers. And now, if you go to our website, we have over 700 GPUs that have participated in our network. So as the artists are finding us, the GPU providers are finding us. And so as our demand goes up, our supply goes up because of DePIN. And unlike ChatGPT, where they have to spend millions of dollars buying more servers, we don't spend any money on our servers because the majority of our servers and even our profit goes to the GPU users directly. So we're the we're the service that brings together both with great apps, but ultimately most of the tokens that are being passed around go from artist to worker.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, I agree with Book that actually the generation about the Studio Ghibli art is very famous right now. Um, I saw a lot of people using that, and it's amazing how the people love this style, and that now they have that in the hand that they can make that art themselves. It's amazing, actually.
Thank you.
That
Yeah, it
is.
is. We were really excited to see that.
Mm-hmm. It's actually very amazing. I'm an artist, so I have this thing that the intelligent artificial with the art, but I think it's very good how the people have more opportunities to make their own art. That is actually very good too. But yeah, actually, I have a couple questions about this. Well, this is like my personal question. Like, I'm an artist because I want to know more about this and then just understand a little more about this. Uh, do you think that at some point artificial intelligence can replace human artists?
So that's another good question, and for me, I'm a full believer in AI. I believe that it will make our lives so much better before it eventually
Mhm.
kills us. But who knows if that happens? But like for me, like as a programmer, I'm using Cursor AI, and it helps me program 5 times more faster and better quality. I like to think I'm a pretty good developer, but in the right hands, these AI tools are just an extension of your creativity. We're actually a pretty small company. We have maybe like 14 full-time people, but only maybe like 5 developers. And we do the work of 15 developers. Our designers do the work of 5 designers because AI helps us. Like, um, there's a famous video of Bjork when she was being interviewed, and she was mentioning when electronic music was new, people were saying that electronic music has no soul,
Hmm.
and then she was saying, well, if the music doesn't have any soul, it's because you didn't put it in there. And so if
Mm-hmm.
the AI doesn't have any soul, it's because you didn't put it in there. It's just a tool, and in the
Mm-hmm.
right hands, it's very powerful. And so, yeah, that's the way that I look at it.
Yeah, it's actually. a very good way to see this situation because I know a lot of artists that they actually hate, and it's not a joke, hate the intelligent artificial, and I
Mm,
understand why. Because in some point, they don't have the same amount of work, but I think
yeah,
is that you say too. I agree with you that actually the people is in any way they put their heart in the imagine that they make with the intelligent artificial. So I think that
yeah.
is a good point for real.
Yeah, and you know, and if you play around with our tool, you'll figure out like one thing about our we have something called the Mac Studio, which is our most advanced application, and
Hmm.
people who first use it, they usually have a hard time with it because it's like Photoshop. It's deep.
Hmm.
It's not like a simple prompt. Like we call like ChatGPT and even Midjourney to a certain extent, like casual prompting engines where you're basically looking to get a finished result in one prompt. But with us, you take the result and you feed it back in and you feed it back in and you apply different control nets and you're really using y- like a whole arsenal of like what we would have called like brushes and rulers and you know it's definitely it's not those tools but you know it's the equivalent to get the exact thing that you're looking for out of this thing and so so yeah I definitely think that it's just another tool and it really just depends on how you use it to get the but what's funny is we actually have a channel in our Discord that we call the AI slop channel and the AI slop is a funny name that people a derogatory name they give to AI art because people just pump out garbage because they don't really care that much and so our new users they can only post to the AI slop channel until they get they get you know enough people appreciating what they're doing to get escalated into like the regular art channels because you know there is a filter it becomes so easy to just generate mediocre AI art and so
It's true.
we want to yeah we want to you know put high quality AI art on a pedestal because within the right hands it's just it just turbocharges your creativity and so yeah that's a little funny anecdote.
Yeah, it's true. I was thinking about that these days that actually the intelligent artificial it's really good in the right hands because some people don't know how to use it. And it's true. Like this is with all the new things that the people don't know how to use it correctly and the result is a little um medium, like it's not so
Yeah,
good, but it's normal because some page that create this intelligent artificial is like no so easy to
yeah,
use like for the people, like they don't know about in technology, they don't know about a lot of things that they need to know for use this. And that is a good thing that the program is more easy to use for new users. Like I think that is an important thing that all the people know how to use it, like the technology, and they want to make pictures like art, like this kind of sogny things, and it's more difficult. And I saw that because in some point uh, well, I know that the artists use intelligent artificial too in Photoshop. That actually Photoshop and Illustrator, they are using that in the program, and I'm really sure that the artists use that too. So it's like you need like a reference for know how to use it, and it's really
yeah.
important.
Yeah, and it's a tricky balance that we've always had where like, do we make it for advanced professionals or do we make it for casual users? And so it's always a fine line. With our desktop tools, we made it more deep, and so it is a little harder for new users. But our iPhone app, for example, that's more like on the go casual use, and it's so fast and easy to use, and it's actually the best experience that I recommend for new users. What's cool is like we have this swipe to generate feature where you're just swiping next and it's already generated your next 4 or 8 images, so it feels like the images are already on your phone. Like, normally you have to wait for them, but because it's because we have the network where we can ask, 8 computers to generate what you asked for at the same time, um, so that you're just swiping and it feels like it's on your phone. It feels so fast. So it's really a joy to use.
Okay, so you say that actually Sogni is a little deep program that actually the new user it's going to be a little difficult to use.
Yeah, for the desktop app, because it's
Mm-hmm.
so feature rich, it's like opening up
Mm-hmm.
Photoshop or After Effects or Premiere for the first
Mm,
time. You have a learning curve because it's not a linear thing. It's just like, what do you want to do? You open up whatever option. But we actually have a great series of YouTube videos that we put together. So in their project specific, like if you want to do something in particular, we probably have a YouTube video that explains the best way to do it and save you a lot of time.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. We are going to read the questions in the chat a little. Okay. Okay.
Sure.
Book Rainbow as recently ChatGPT server overlaid with people generating. Okay. No, that is the question that we already put. Okay. Okay. Hello, Davida. How will you project again message like AI generated chicks exploitation material or political propaganda? Are they UBT mechanisms in place?
So it's a good question. When people install the app first, it installs with the content moderation filters turned on, and so you can choose to turn those off. Um, and then we adhere to any laws of any countries that we operate in. But at the end of the day, what, our thought is that if you had a pencil in your hand, you can
Mhm.
draw anything you want for your personal use. And so our belief is that we shouldn't pry into what you're trying to create and determine what it is. We can't even see what you're generating. It goes directly from you to the worker node and back. And we encrypt it and keep it as private as possible. If someone was, supremely clever, they might be able to, on the worker node, because the worker nodes needs to decrypt and generate that image. They might be able to, but we don't associate it directly to that user. So even if they were able to see what their computer is generating, they couldn't associate it to another user. So that's basically the way we look at it. At the end of the day, the onus of responsibility is on the end users, and we keep to privacy in the fact that if you had a pencil in your hand, you can generate what you want.
Mm, yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. Next question, JC. On Playfriends, people use a lot of GIFs to communicate. That is true. What do you think about use case surrounding GIF sticker full solution and monetization tactics on that? Okay.
We love gifts. We use them all the time. Um, one similar idea that we have is it's called the Sogni sticker bot. And so we have a sticker bot, a free one for Discord and for Telegram, where anybody can use the bot and even bring it into their own channels, and you just prompt it for stickers and it makes you the stickers right on the spot, and the transparent background and everything. And so gifs is another step. We haven't integrated gifs yet. When we add video, we'll certainly have some version of gifs with that. But the sticker bot is an example of a use case. Someone asked about our SDK, our software development kit. And basically, when we created our web application that's mostly fully featured to our regular apps, we used our SDK to develop that fully. So to make sure that anything that we can do, you can do with our platform, as a
Mm.
as a developer, or someone running their own website or application, and wants to get it powered by a decentralized network.
Hmm. Yeah, actually, JC, it's right. I use a lot of GIFs in my sessions here in Playfriends, here in Lumina, for communicate. And actually, I'm the host. So it's more fun that I actually use GIF anyways in the chat because I really love to use it. You know, it's like because Playfriends is like a podcast platform, a stream, and sometimes we need like videos or images or pictures for communicate like the entire idea. You know, like I'm talking maybe about a series, uh, maybe I don't know Sailor Moon, that is a series that I love, and I want to put like gifts about Sailor Moon, about the dress, about the design, and I start to talk about that, and I feel that I'm not putting all the idea in the chat, and I put gifts like, and I think surrounding gift is a really good idea because I imagine just that in my session, and it's amazing.
Right, for sure.
Okay, so the next question is hold David again. You mentioned about a CDKs a while ago. I would be nuts if I can generate a profile picture using Sogni directly on this platform.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, check it out. It has share controls in there, and you can download directly from the apps. You can specify your own um, aspect ratios. Um, yeah, we're eventually going to have it so that you can actually generate from many different models at the same time. Right now, you have to select the models one at a time, but you can actually request up to 512 images from one model in one prompt, which is pretty crazy. Um, but we've actually have it an NFT generator app where you're able to generate 10,000 NFTs. Like a lot of people do 10,000 NFT projects, and so we even have advanced wildcard features where, say, for example, you're developing, 10,000 bears and you only want 1% to have golden eyes. You can write that in the prompts, and then it would just generate 1% with golden eyes. And so, yeah, a lot of interesting features like that.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, Singwo asks, okay, when someone uses Supernet to generate an image, is their input data ever exposed to the working node processing it?
Yeah, I think I covered that one earlier, but basically we encrypt it and encryption, but at the end of the day, it has to be decrypted as it enters the worker process. And so at the end of the day, if someone's super clever, they can try to reverse engineer that. But even if they have the images that are being generated from the app, they don't have who that image is going to. And so yeah, it's basically um, uh, a policy of like least privilege where we give them as little information as possible. They're doing work, but they don't know who they're doing it for. So even if they could, you know, decrypt it.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, and Nikki has another question. AI is growing so much, so are replacing humans, graphic artists, editors, etc. How do you think we should adapt?
So I think that we basically, with the beat of technology, I don't think there's any way around it. For example, when people were concerned with like AI on the battlefield, for example, and the battlefield advantage, and I watched a YouTube video on that because I was against AI for anything malicious like that. But then I learned that basically the the AI in the battlefield is already there, and all the other countries are using it. And if we don't use it, our human beings are going to get slaughtered. And so it's unfortunately like it's like when electricity was invented, you can't fight electricity. Like I feel like it's one of those things where
Hmm.
for better and for worse, it's here. You can be vocal about it, and when things are moving in directions and certain companies are moving in directions that you don't like, you should be vocal and talk to your congressperson and whatnot. But in general, I think that the technology um, is a powerful force for good, for both good and evil, that we can only adapt to. And and you know, talk to our governments and policyholders when we can. Like when AGI and discussions around AGI, like they're very important conversations to have, and the oversight needs to be there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Well, actually, um, like an artist, I can say that the way that we can adapt to for this so fast growing the artificial intelligence is going, like, I think it's like more like we need to use the intelligent artificial for help us, like what I said earlier, that actually Illustrator and Photoshop is using a lot of AI for the program. Like, and this it's a good help for like us artists. And it's very important to see the good things with this, not just the bad things, because of course in all the new things we have bad things and good things, but for
Mhm.
the artists, I think that is a good thing too. Like we have some helps that it's good for our arts, and yeah, I think it's that. Hmm. Okay,
Great.
so okay, okay. JC have another question. Does the post have an APA we can integrate on Playfriends?
Yep, it's the Sogni SDK, and there's basically we made a whole bunch of sample applications. Like there's one called the creatures mini app, where it's you just are able to just generate different creatures on the fly with your own characteristics. And then we've got the sticker bot, and then we have our own website. Like we have a lot of examples in our GitHub, and the SDK. There's links on our website as well. But yeah, we open up everything that we can do with the application. You can do as well. You just have to um, sign up for a free account and then use your account to log in. And we actually give you quite a lot of like free tokens a day. And there's actually no way to pay for the product right now. It's just completely free during testnet. And so in the earlier phase of testnet, we went crazy. We were giving everyone like, you know, 2,000 credits, or credits are basically images, like just for verifying your email, But we actually got, you know, maybe a month and a half ago, maybe we had like 10,000 users, and now we have like 300,000, and that happened so fast that it was kind of crazy, and we had to turn our limits down a little bit because um, people were going crazy. But it's awesome. We've been so honored at the reception. We always wanted uh, people to discover us, and they really have. So that's been really cool. Some I did see someone's question about a DAO to oversee decision making, and that is actually one thing that we haven't released yet is our white paper, and we are very close to releasing it. And in that white paper, we do outline that our end goal is to move to a DAO. It was just too difficult to get off the ground um, with one at the beginning, but we, I actually participated in a couple DAOs. Like before this company, Sogni, I was working for Avagachi NFT gaming universe for 2 years. I actually built their metaverse. Gotchiverse, and that was a lot of fun. And I really loved the weekly hangouts that we did with the DAO and all the DAO voting. They've been going strong for probably like 4 years, and I've really got to admire how a well-run DAO can keep bringing fresh blood, fresh talent in there. Some people go for a couple of years and they get burned out, they leave, and they come back because the project is still going strong. And so that's my role model, like Avagachi. I would love for Sogni to eventually be a full-fledged DAO run organization like that.
Yeah, that's right. It's amazing. It's amazing for real. I learning a lot with this. Oh my god. Okay, I have another question for you, Mark. Okay. Okay. Can you elaborate on the benefits of Sogni AI's dual tree architecture for both fast and relaxed rendering tires, and how it caters to different user needs?
Oh, let me see that. I'm trying to scroll down to that question. Yeah, the different networks, the fast and relaxed. So what's interesting is that when we first created this platform, it was actually just one guy. It was my friend Alejandro. He worked on this thing by himself for the first year, and we're closing in on year two. And he's really in love with Apple products, and he wanted to build the best AI just local render platform for Mac and iPhone and iPad, and he did that, and it was really cool. And when we were talking about building this network around it, we were still focusing on Macs because that's where a lot of the creatives are. Um, but what we found is when we made this first network, it was all Macs because anyone who installs the desktop app, they click one button and then they put their artist um, app into worker mode, and then it's just sharing the models that they've already downloaded and getting paid to do that overnight. So that was the original concept. But then we got our first NVIDIA 4090, and NVIDIA 4090 is like the top of the line NVIDIA graphics card for recreational use. Like they don't like corporations don't buy those. They're only for mainly for gamers and AI people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always a little too expensive for me. Like I game, but not really on a desktop that much. And but when I got one and we did the benchmark test, it was we first, because we're into Macs, we had, M2 Ultra Studios. These things were like $5,000-6,000. And when we compared that to a $3,000 NVIDIA 4090 gaming rig, the NVIDIA was doing jobs 20 times faster. And we're
Hmm.
like, that blew us away. And I'm like, and this is just consumer technology. It's not even, it's not the H100s, the $30,000 GPUs, but they're just as fast for what we're doing. It's just as fast as the 40,000 dollars GPU, but it's everybody that's into gaming has one, and so that really changed our our goals, and then we got much bigger with the goals of not just being a Mac network, being a Supernet for both. In fact, in the NVIDIA Windows Linux world was actually where a lot of the hardcore AI folks are, because there's these old tools that are around, like Automatic 1111 and Comfy UI, and there are these tools that where you had to learn have the no command line to get them installed, and the UI was very janky, and it's still they're very popular still. And in fact, we still they're part of our ecosystem, and we actually want to integrate both our client artist and worker nodes into those tools. They are really wonderful tools. They're just very um, ugly and hard to install, and all local, and you have to have powerful GPUs to use them well. Um, but but yeah, it's the NVIDIA 4090 really changed the game, and now it's 5090. It's hard to get those right now because they're so new. But the power that the average person has in their house is just unbelievable. And if you stitch a few of those together, you have yourself a very powerful network that's just as competent as a corporate network, without like the heavy-handed policies, without the expense, yeah, without a lot of that burden.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, actually, I think Sidonia question it's really good and it's really important for this. But actually, I want to know about that answer too. What strategies do Sony A have for expanding its reach globally, particularly in regions with limited access to high performance computer resource?
That's a great question. And what's funny is while we do this testnet phase. We're into our second testnet phase, and it's just started. It's like a 6 week phase. But before that, it was a 7 month long testnet, first public testnet, and we were wondering, the best ways of finding our users, but eventually they would find us where, our most popular users right now are
Mhm.
Brazil. It's what is it? Vietnam, um, Indonesia, and what is that? Nigeria. Yeah, Nigeria. And so these are these are areas that have huge growth in population, and they don't actually. What's funny is like Indonesia, the population of Macs there is almost 0%. But they found us through the web app, and the web app is just so accessible. People on Android phones, people on um, all manner of devices are using our application through there. And the way that they originally found us is because we are a crypto-based project and we are doing an airdrop. There are a lot of airdrop farmers, and those airdrop farmers are what they call KOLs, key online influencers. They'll do referrals, and then they'll find us. And then those people who are originally using our application just because it's just another app that they're trying to get airdrops on, they actually find that it's an amazing product that is doing really amazing images, and then they get hooked, and then they actually like the product. And so that's some of where a lot of our early users are coming from, and they're coming from a lot of areas that we didn't necessarily target at first, but now they have, some of our biggest communities on Discords. We have different language channels on Discord, are these communities that found us that way. But
Mm.
but to further ask the question, like, because we are based on being a crypto project, the crypto is a way for us to like airdrop to our communities, give token give token grants to uh, um, certain schools and certain organizations. We have a lot of leeway built into the network fees where we can actually promote with the basically free render credits, and just get the tool into as many people's hands as possible.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, so this is the last question because we just have 8 minutes left to the event end. So we are going to finish with the last question, and it's JC. Okay. As someone who's very paranoid about installing anything on my PC, what would you say to me about the process of being part of the Supernet? How do you make sure that it's secure to run?
It's a great question. We actually have, in our FAQs on the website, we have that question, and we answer that question. Um, because the Apple products, Apple versions of our software run in the App Store, they are heavily policed by those standards. And then our NVIDIA worker software, um, it works through Docker. And so Docker is a sandbox virtualization technology where it can't access your computer, it can't access your files. It's stuck in its own box where it can only access the video card and the internet access through your external network. Um, and so it's very restricted. And so recently there's a really big platform called salad.com. And so salad.com is not a crypto company. They're just a DePIN provider. They're like Nosana, where anybody who has a gaming rig or whatever can go there, install their software, and then when they're not using it, they can earn money through renting their GPU through their service automatically. And so we we were actually using them to help our network when we have more demand than we have uh, people on our network. But they liked us so much that they added our worker to their platform as one of their, they call them salad recipes. And so that's another reason where we're getting integrated into all of these other platforms that don't, like, they have like, I think, six other um, uh, salad recipe providers that they have. So they're huge, but they're very strict on who they allow get added to their platform. So we're really honored to get added. That was only about 2 weeks ago. So yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay, so thank you. Thank you so much for answer all the questions. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much for the to the guests that they actually. I really hope that you guys have all the questions that you need. So I'm really excited about Sogni too. So that's great, you know. Oh my god. So
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, thank you. It's an awesome community you have here. Some really great questions. Yeah, I hope to see some of you on our Discord, um, in our application. Feel free to give me a ping on there. I'm in there helping with support and just talking to our community. It's the best way for me to find our little bugs, find the features that we're missing, and yeah, making sure that we're prioritizing our roadmap correctly.
okay, so we are going to finish in a 5 minutes. So you have a couple last words for our guests that they. I'm really sure that they are going to come to start to using Sogni, but you have a last words for our guests.
Oh, so we have Nadex that joined us. She's head of our business development. And so if you have any interesting partnership ideas with your businesses or your websites or your communities, feel free to reach out to her as well. Um, but yeah, that's it. We're an open book, and we're testnet only lasts for another 6 weeks, and we are giving quite a lot of tokens away. 10 million tokens awarded after the 6 weeks is up when we go to mainnet. So yeah, if you're interested in checking out the product, completely free. There's no way to pay us anything. It's just free for the next 6 weeks. So check it out and enjoy it.
Yeah, it's true, guys. So we have the answer that we need, and actually, I think I'm going to check Sony very soon. Okay, so thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here and be so nice with us. Thank you. So I think we can say bye for now.
Thanks so much, and thanks for the little bears and whatnot, everybody.
Thank you so much, Mark. So bye, guys. Have a
Have
good
a good one.
night. Bye.